What if I told you that some of the worst moments of your life never actually happened? Yet they shaped the way you lived. They stole your sleep, your peace, your ability to enjoy the life unfolding right in front of you. A delayed message became rejection. A small mistake became proof that you were not enough. A difficult season convinced you that your future was falling apart. Before reality even had the chance to speak, fear had already written the ending, and without realizing it, you started fighting battles that only existed inside your mind. You argued with people who never attacked you. You grieved losses that never arrived. You prepared for disasters that never came. You spent precious years surviving imaginary wars, while life quietly waited for you in the present moment. And perhaps the saddest truth of all is this: most people go through their entire lives never realizing that the prison stealing their peace was never the world around them. It was the voice inside their own heads. But Buddhist wisdom offers a truth powerful enough to change everything. You do not have to believe every story your mind tells you. And if you stay with me until the end of this message, you may finally learn how to put down the weapons you were never meant to carry, end the invisible war within, and return to the peace that has been waiting for you all along. The mind turns imagined threats into lived reality. One of the strangest things about being human is that the mind can make you suffer over things that have never actually happened. Before anything goes wrong in your outer world, your inner world has already begun preparing for battle. Your mind wants to protect you. It always has. That is not a weakness. It is not a flaw in your character. It is part of being human. Thousands of years ago, this ability helped people survive. Human beings lived in dangerous environments. They had to pay attention to sudden movements in the bushes, changes in the weather, and signs of real threats. The mind learned an important lesson. If I can spot danger before it arrives, maybe I can keep us safe. That instinct helped our ancestors stay alive. But in today's world, the same protective mind often forgets the difference between an actual danger standing in front of you and a fearful thought passing through your head. The mind no longer waits for reality. It starts creating its own version of reality. A small thought appears without warning. What if I embarrass myself? What if they stop loving me? What if I lose everything I worked for? What if I make the wrong decision? What if something terrible happens? At first, these are only passing thoughts, but the mind rarely leaves them alone. It begins adding details, it paints pictures, it creates scenes, it writes entire stories. Before long, you are no longer thinking about a possibility. You are living inside it. You imagine the look on someone's face when they reject you. You hear the words they have never spoken. You replay conversations that have never happened. You see yourself failing at opportunities you have not even attempted. You mourn losses that do not exist. You prepare for disasters that may never come. And the most powerful part is this: your body does not always know the difference. Your heart begins to race. Your stomach tightens. Your shoulders become heavy. Your jaw clenches without you noticing. You struggle to sleep because your mind keeps searching for solutions to problems that are not even real yet. You lose your appetite. You become distant from the people around you. You sit in a safe room while your nervous system behaves as though you are standing in the middle of a battlefield. Have you ever noticed how often this happens? Someone you care about takes longer than usual to reply to your message, and within minutes, your mind begins whispering that something is wrong. Maybe they are upset with you. Maybe they no longer care. Maybe you said something foolish. Hours later, they reply and explain they were simply busy. Nothing terrible happened. Your boss says, "Can we talk tomorrow?" Your mind immediately assumes the worst. You convince yourself that you are in trouble, that you disappointed everyone, that your future is falling apart. Then the conversation arrives, and they simply want to ask a question. or discuss a small matter. A loved one seems quiet for a day, and your mind starts preparing for abandonment. You build emotional walls. You become anxious. You suffer before anything has even happened, only to discover later that they were tired, stressed, or distracted by something completely unrelated to you. How many peaceful moments have been stolen this way? How many sunsets have you missed because you were trapped inside tomorrow's fears? How many dinners have you eaten without tasting the food because your mind was busy fighting invisible enemies? How many nights have you spent awake trying to solve problems that never arrived? This is one of the mind's greatest illusions. It mistakes possibility for certainty. It confuses imagination with truth. It takes a simple maybe and turns it into "this will definitely happen." But Buddhist wisdom gently invites you to pause and question the stories your mind creates. Is this thought true? Do I know this for certain? Is this reality? Or is this fear speaking through old habits? The mind is powerful, but power does not always mean wisdom. Not every thought deserves your trust. Not every fear deserves your obedience. A worried mind can sound very convincing. It speaks with confidence. It speaks with urgency. It tells you that if you keep thinking, keep worrying, keep preparing, you will finally become safe. But safety does not come from living inside imagined disasters. Fear is not proof. Anxious thoughts are not prophecies. The loudest voice in your head is not always the wisest one. Thoughts are simply visitors passing through the house of your awareness. Some visitors bring useful messages, others bring confusion. You do not have to invite every visitor to stay. You do not have to hand them the keys to your peace. Imagine standing beneath a wide-open sky. Clouds drift above you. Some are dark and heavy, others are soft and light. Yet no matter what kind of clouds pass overhead, the sky itself remains untouched. Your awareness is like that sky. Thoughts come, thoughts go. Fear rises, fear fades. Stories appear, stories disappear. But you do not have to become every thought that enters your mind. You do not have to build your home beneath every storm cloud that passes overhead. Perhaps true freedom begins the moment you realize that just because your mind creates a frightening story does not mean you must live inside it. You can notice the thought, you can acknowledge the fear, and then, with compassion and wisdom, you can return to what is real, this breath, this moment, this life unfolding in front of you. Because many of the wars that steal your peace were never happening outside of you. They were battles created by a mind that was trying to protect you, but forgot that not every shadow is a threat. And maybe healing begins here, not by fighting your mind, not by hating yourself for overthinking, but by learning to gently say, "Thank you for trying to protect me, but I do not need to be afraid of every story you tell." And for the first time in a very long while, you stop preparing for a tragedy that never arrived and allow yourself to simply live. You are fighting tomorrow's wars while losing today's peace. One of the saddest things the human mind does is convince you to suffer for a future that has not even arrived. Many people believe they are living in the present, but if they look honestly at their lives, they discover that their bodies are here while their minds are somewhere else. Their minds are living in tomorrow. They are having arguments that have not happened. They are grieving losses that have not occurred. They are fearing disasters that may never come. They are preparing themselves for pain that does not yet exist. Without realizing it, they spend today's energy fighting tomorrow's imaginary battles. Perhaps you know what this feels like. You have an important meeting next week, and instead of simply preparing for it, your mind starts creating scenes of embarrassment and failure. You imagine forgetting your words. You imagine people judging you. You imagine disappointing everyone around you. Days before the meeting arrives, your heart is already carrying the weight of a future that has not happened. Or maybe someone you love means everything to you, And instead of enjoying their presence while they are beside you, your mind whispers frightening questions. What if they leave? What if something happens to them? What if I lose this happiness? You become so afraid of losing what you have that you cannot fully experience it while it is still in your hands. The mind tells you that this is wisdom. It tells you that worrying means you are being responsible. It says that if you think about every possible problem, you will somehow protect yourself from pain. But look closely at what actually happens. Has all your worrying prevented heartbreak? Has all your overthinking guaranteed success? Has all your fear stopped uncertainty from existing? Most of the time, it has only done one thing. It has stolen your peace before life even had the chance to unfold. You suffer once inside your imagination. Then, if difficulty eventually comes, you suffer again in reality. The mind calls this preparation, but Buddhist wisdom calls it unnecessary suffering. There is a difference between preparing for life and abandoning life. Preparation is healthy. You study for the exam. You save money for difficult seasons. You make thoughtful decisions. You take wise action, then you let go. Fear, however, never lets go. Fear keeps checking, keeps replaying. Fear keeps asking, but what if? It keeps moving the finish line. Even when one worry disappears, another quickly takes its place. You finally solve one problem, and the mind immediately begins searching for the next threat. You finally reach one goal, and suddenly you fear losing it. You finally find happiness, and then you become anxious that it cannot last. It becomes an endless cycle. You tell yourself that once this problem is solved, then you will relax. Once this debt is gone, then you will live. Once this fear disappears, then you will enjoy life. Once everything becomes certain, then you will allow yourself peace. But certainty never arrives. Life has never offered absolute guarantees. No one knows exactly what tomorrow holds. Not the wealthy, not the powerful, not the wise. Every human being wakes up each morning stepping into uncertainty. And perhaps this is one of the hardest truths to accept. You cannot think your way into complete safety. No amount of overthinking can control every outcome. No amount of worrying can predict every twist in the story of your life. The future has always remained unknown. Yet, despite this uncertainty, life continues to offer beautiful moments every single day. A child laughs in another room. A friend sends a kind message. Rain taps gently against the window. The warmth of tea rests in your hands. The evening sky changes color before your eyes. Someone you love says your name. A quiet breeze touches your face. Small miracles keep appearing. But when your mind lives entirely in tomorrow, you miss the gifts of today. You eat meals without tasting them. You walk through beautiful places without noticing them. You sit beside people you love while being mentally absent. You hear laughter but cannot join it because you are busy preparing for disasters that have not arrived. Then years pass, and one day you may realize something painful. You spent so much time trying to protect yourself from future suffering that you forgot to live the life you already had. You forgot to notice ordinary moments. You forgot to celebrate small joys. You forgot to rest. You forgot that life was never meant to be postponed until fear disappeared. Buddhist wisdom gently reminds us that the present moment is the only place where life can truly be experienced. Peace cannot be found in tomorrow, because tomorrow is only an idea. Peace cannot be found in yesterday, because yesterday is only a memory. Peace can only be touched here, in this breath, in this heartbeat, in this moment that is quietly unfolding before you. This does not mean you stop caring about the future. It means you stop sacrificing today at the altar of tomorrow's fears. It means you make wise choices and then release what you cannot control. It means trusting yourself enough to meet life as it comes, instead of trying to fight battles that do not yet exist. Because the truth is this: many of the things you are worrying about right now will never happen. Many of the conversations you rehearse will never take place. Many of the disasters your mind predicts will never arrive. And if challenges do come, you will meet them with the strength that exists within you at that moment. You have survived difficult days before. You have carried burdens you once thought would destroy you. You have found your way through heartbreak, disappointment, confusion, and fear. You are far more capable than your anxious mind allows you to believe. So perhaps tonight, you do not need to solve your entire future. You do not need all the answers. You do not need guarantees. You only need this moment, this breath entering your lungs, this ground beneath your feet, this opportunity to be fully present in the life that is already here. Because your real life is not waiting for you somewhere in the future. It is happening now. And every moment spent fighting tomorrow's imaginary wars is a moment stolen from the peace that has been available to you all along. So come back. Come back from the future your mind has created. Come back from the fears that have not come true. Come back to this breath. Come back to this moment. Come back to your life, because life is not asking you to predict every storm before it arrives. It is only asking you to be here while the sun is still shining. Old wounds train the mind to see enemies everywhere. Not every fear you carry was born today. Some fears are much older than you realize. Some of the battles you fight in your mind are not actually about this moment at all. They are echoes from experiences that hurt you deeply. Echoes from chapters of your life that ended long ago, yet somehow continue living quietly within you. The human mind never forgets pain easily, especially pain that arrived unexpectedly. The pain of being rejected, the pain of being abandoned, the pain of being laughed at when you were vulnerable, the pain of trusting someone who betrayed you, the pain of loving someone who walked away, the pain of trying your hardest and still failing. When these experiences happen, something inside the mind changes. It becomes cautious. It becomes alert. It whispers to itself, "Never let this happen again." At first, this seems wise. After all, who wants to be hurt twice? Who wants to experience the same heartbreak again? The mind begins building walls, not because it hates you, but because it wants to protect you. It promises that if it can see danger before it arrives, maybe it can save you from future pain. But over time, protection can quietly become imprisonment. One person lies to you. Now your mind struggles to trust anyone. One relationship ends badly. Now your mind says, love always leads to suffering. One person criticizes you. Now every opinion feels like an attack. One mistake embarrasses you. Now you become terrified of trying anything new. One dream falls apart. Now your mind whispers, why bother? Nothing ever works out. Do you see what happens? The mind takes one painful experience and turns it into a permanent rule. It changes "this happened once" into "this will always happen." It changes "that person hurt me" into "everyone will hurt me." It changes "I failed" into "I am a failure." Without realizing it, you stop responding to the present moment. Instead, you respond to memories. You stop seeing people as they truly are. You see them through the eyes of your old wounds. Someone takes a little longer to reply, and your mind remembers abandonment. Someone gives feedback, and your mind remembers criticism. Someone becomes distant for a day, and your mind prepares for rejection. A new opportunity appears, and your mind remembers the last time you failed. The present moment never gets a fair chance. The past keeps speaking over it. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones. Each painful experience adds another stone, a betrayal, a disappointment, a humiliation, a heartbreak, a loss. At first, the weight is manageable, but year after year, you keep carrying it. Eventually, you forget what it feels like to walk freely. You assume life is supposed to feel this heavy. You tell yourself, this is just who I am. I am anxious. I cannot trust people. I always expect the worst. I have always been this way. But perhaps that is not entirely true. Perhaps you were not born expecting betrayal. Perhaps you were not born fearing rejection. Perhaps you were not born believing you were unworthy of love. Perhaps these fears were learned through pain, and what has been learned can also be unlearned. Buddhist wisdom teaches that suffering often continues because we keep reliving experiences that have already ended. The body is here, but the mind is somewhere else, still standing in old arguments, still replaying painful conversations, still trying to rewrite endings that cannot be changed, still fighting battles that are already over. You may look like an adult sitting peacefully in your living room, but part of your heart may still be that child who felt unseen. Part of you may still be that teenager who was rejected. Part of you may still be that person who sat alone after being disappointed by someone they trusted. And those younger parts of you deserve compassion. They deserve understanding, not judgment, not shame. Because the truth is this: you did not create these defenses because you were weak. You created them because you were trying to survive. You learned to overthink because you thought it would keep you safe. You learned to expect disappointment because hope once hurt you. You learned to build walls because openness felt dangerous. You learned to prepare for loss because loss once arrived without warning. These strategies protected you when you did not know another way. And for that, you can be grateful. But what once protected you may now be preventing you from truly living. The armor that kept you safe during one season of your life may be too heavy to wear forever. The walls that once guarded your heart may now be blocking love from entering. The fear that once warned you about danger may now be stealing your peace. Healing does not mean pretending the past never happened. It does not mean denying your pain. It does not mean forcing yourself to trust everyone. Healing means recognizing when the past is trying to control the present. It means gently asking yourself, is this person truly dangerous? Or is my old pain speaking? Is this situation actually unsafe? Or is my fear remembering something else? Am I responding to what is happening right now? Or am I reacting to something that happened years ago? These questions create space. And in that space, wisdom begins to grow. Slowly, you stop allowing yesterday to decide how you will live today. You stop punishing new people for wounds they did not create. You stop assuming every chapter will end the same way. You stop expecting every open door to lead to disappointment. You begin giving life another chance. You begin giving people another chance. Most importantly, you begin giving yourself another chance. Because your past may explain your fears, but it does not have the authority to write the rest of your story. You are more than what happened to you. You are more than the people who misunderstood you. You are more than the moments that broke your heart. You are more than your worst day. The pain you experienced was real. The tears you cried were real. The disappointments were real. But they are not your identity. You survived them. And the very fact that you are still here means there is something within you stronger than every wound you carry. Perhaps healing begins the moment you stop asking, "What is wrong with me?" and start asking, "What happened to me that taught me to be afraid?" Because fear often disappears when it is finally understood with compassion. The wounded parts of you do not need punishment. They do not need criticism. They simply need reassurance, a gentle voice within saying, "You do not have to keep fighting old battles anymore. That chapter is over. You survived. You are safe enough to open your heart to life again." And maybe true freedom is not forgetting the past. Maybe true freedom is remembering that although the past shaped you, it does not own you. You can honor your wounds without living inside them. You can remember your pain without becoming it. You can carry your lessons without carrying your fear. And for the first time in a very long while, you can stop seeing enemies everywhere and begin seeing possibilities instead. The ego keeps the war alive because chaos feels familiar. There is a part of the mind that few people ever learn to recognize. It does not want peace as much as it claims to. It says it wants rest. It says it wants happiness. It says it wants freedom. But whenever peace finally arrives, it becomes uncomfortable. It starts looking for something to fear, something to fix, something to control, something to fight. Buddhist wisdom often refers to this restless part of us as the ego. The ego is not evil. It is not your enemy. It is simply the part of the mind that builds its identity around fear, control, comparison, and endless thinking. It constantly asks questions that never seem to end. What if I am not good enough? What if they do not respect me? What if they are talking about me? What if I lose everything? What if I make a mistake? What if something goes wrong? And even when one fear disappears, another quickly takes its place. Have you ever noticed this? You worry for weeks about a certain problem. You tell yourself, once this is over, I will finally relax. Then the situation passes, everything turns out fine. For a brief moment you breathe, but then the mind immediately finds something else to worry about. Now it becomes your finances, then your health, then your relationships, then your future, then your purpose, then your appearance, then whether other people approve of you. The mind moves from one battlefield to another without ever stopping long enough to ask, what if there is no war to fight right now? Many people have become so familiar with stress that peace feels strange, chaos feels normal, busyness feels productive, overthinking feels responsible, worry feels like love, control feels like safety. Without realizing it, they become addicted to mental noise. Silence makes them uncomfortable. Stillness feels unfamiliar. A quiet day feels suspicious. Nothing is wrong, yet the mind whispers, you must be forgetting something. You should be worried. Do not relax too much. Something bad will happen. And so the war begins again. Imagine someone who spent years living near loud traffic. At first, the noise disturbed them, but eventually they adjusted. The noise became normal. Then one day they moved somewhere peaceful. Instead of enjoying the silence, they struggled with it. The quiet felt unsettling because they had forgotten what peace sounded like. Many people live this way emotionally. They have carried stress for so long that calm feels unsafe. They have lived in survival mode for so many years that they no longer know how to rest without guilt. They believe that if they stop worrying, they will become careless. If they stop overthinking, they will lose control. If they stop preparing for disaster, disaster will arrive. But look honestly at your own experience. Has constant worry protected you from every difficulty? Has overthinking guaranteed happiness? Has trying to control everything prevented pain? Or has it mostly exhausted you? How many mornings have you woken up already tired because your mind never truly rested? How many peaceful evenings have been interrupted by thoughts demanding your attention? How many beautiful moments have been overshadowed because your mind insisted on finding a problem that did not exist? The ego survives by convincing you that peace can wait. It says, once you fix this, then you can relax. Once everyone approves of you, then you can be happy. Once life becomes predictable, then you can rest. Once you eliminate every possible problem, then you will finally feel safe. But the list never ends, because life itself cannot be controlled. There will always be uncertainty. There will always be change. There will always be things beyond your power. And if peace depends on controlling everything, peace will remain forever out of reach. Buddhist wisdom offers another path. Instead of trying to control every wave, learn how to sit peacefully within the ocean. Instead of trying to silence every thought, learn not to obey every thought. Instead of trying to eliminate uncertainty, learn to trust your ability to meet whatever life brings. You do not have to attend every argument your mind invites you into. Not every thought deserves a response. Not every fear deserves your attention. Not every worry deserves your energy. Imagine someone knocking on your front door in the middle of the night. You hear the sound, But hearing the knock does not mean you must open the door. Thoughts are like that. Fear knocks, anger knocks, judgment knocks, insecurity knocks. You notice them, you acknowledge them, but you do not have to welcome each one into the home of your awareness. You can simply say, I hear you, but I do not need to follow you. That is not weakness, that is wisdom. Many people believe strength means fighting harder, fighting every negative thought, arguing with every fear, winning every inner battle. But true strength often looks much quieter. It is choosing not to participate in unnecessary wars. It is remaining calm when panic asks you to run. It is breathing deeply when anxiety demands immediate answers. It is refusing to abandon yourself simply because your mind becomes loud. There is incredible courage in choosing peace, because peace requires trust. Trust that you can handle uncertainty. Trust that you can survive discomfort. Trust that not everything needs to be solved this very moment. Trust that your worth is not determined by how perfectly you control life. Perhaps the greatest misunderstanding is believing that peace is something you earn after solving all your problems. But peace is not a reward waiting at the end of fear. Peace is a practice, a decision you return to again and again. It is choosing this moment over imagined disasters. It is choosing presence over panic. It is choosing compassion over criticism. It is choosing to release the heavy armor you have worn for so long. The truth is, you have fought enough invisible battles. You have spent enough nights rehearsing worst-case scenarios. You have carried enough burdens that were never yours to carry. You do not have to prove your value by exhausting yourself. You do not have to earn rest through suffering. You do not have to stay trapped in chaos simply because it feels familiar. There is another way to live, a gentler way, a quieter way, a wiser way. The ego may continue whispering that something is wrong. It may continue searching for enemies where none exist. It may continue inviting you into old wars. But now you can recognize its voice, and instead of following it blindly, you can smile softly and say, "Thank you for trying to protect me, but I choose peace instead." And perhaps that is where freedom truly begins. Not when life finally becomes perfect, not when every fear disappears, but in the ordinary, courageous moment when you stop feeding the chaos inside your own mind. Because the war survives through your participation. And the moment you stop picking up the weapons, the war begins to lose its power. For the first time in a very long while, you realize something beautiful. You were never meant to spend your entire life fighting yourself. You were meant to live. You were meant to love. You were meant to notice the sunlight on your face, the laughter of people you cherish, the quiet rhythm of your own breath. You were meant to experience this precious life, and peace has been waiting patiently for you all along, asking only one question. Are you finally ready to come home to it? The silent witness within you is greater than every storm. Perhaps one of the most life-changing truths you will ever discover is this: you are not the voice inside your head. You are not every fearful thought that passes through your mind. You are not your anxiety. You are not your anger. You are not your sadness. You are not the endless stream of worries that keeps you awake at night. For many people, this realization sounds almost impossible at first, because for years, they have believed that every thought they think is who they are. The mind says, "You are not good enough," and they believe it. The mind says, "You will fail," and they accept it as truth. The mind says, "Nobody truly loves you," and they carry that pain in their hearts. The mind says, "Something bad is about to happen," and they spend the entire day preparing for disaster. After listening to this inner voice for so long, it becomes easy to mistake it for your identity. You stop saying, "I am having anxious thoughts." Instead, you say, "I am an anxious person." You stop saying, "Fear is visiting me right now." Instead, you say, "I am a fearful person." You stop saying, "Sadness is moving through me." Instead, you say, "I am broken." Without realizing it, you become fused with every passing emotion and every story the mind creates. But Buddhist wisdom gently invites you to step back and look more carefully. If you can notice a thought, then who is doing the noticing? If you can observe fear arising within you, then who is aware of the fear? If you can say, "I notice that I am worrying," then there must be a part of you that exists beyond the worry itself. That part of you is what Buddhist teachings often point toward: the silent witness, the observer, the awareness that has been with you your entire life. Think about it for a moment. When you were a child, you had thoughts. As a teenager, you had different thoughts. As an adult, your thoughts continue to change. Your opinions have changed. Your fears have changed. Your dreams have changed. The people in your life have changed. Your body has changed. Your circumstances have changed. Almost everything about your life has transformed with time. Yet there is something within you that has remained quietly present through it all. The same awareness that noticed your first heartbreak. The same awareness that witnessed your happiest memories. The same awareness that sat beside you during your darkest nights. The same awareness listening to these words right now. It has never left. It does not panic. It does not judge. It simply notices. Imagine sitting beside a river. Leaves drift across the surface of the water. Some leaves are beautiful, some are damaged. Some move quickly, others move slowly. You notice each one, but you do not jump into the river every time a leaf passes by. You simply watch. Thoughts are much the same. Some thoughts are loving. Some thoughts are frightening. Some thoughts are angry. Some thoughts are hopeful. Some thoughts make no sense at all. The problem is not that these thoughts appear. The problem begins when you chase every single one of them. A fearful thought appears. What if I lose everything? Instead of noticing it, you follow it. Then another thought arrives. What if I cannot handle what comes next? You follow that one too. Before long, you are completely swept away by a river of stories that only moments ago did not even exist. Hours pass, days pass, peace disappears, all because you believed you had to follow every thought your mind presented to you. But what if you did something different? What if you simply noticed? What if fear arrived and you quietly said, "I see you"? What if sadness appeared and you gently responded, "I know you are here"? What if anger knocked on the door of your awareness and you chose not to invite it to take over the entire house? This is not suppression. This is not pretending. This is presence. You are allowing experiences to exist without becoming imprisoned by them. Imagine the sky above you. Some days it is bright and clear. Other days storms roll through. Thunder crashes. Rain falls heavily. Dark clouds cover everything. But no matter how intense the weather becomes, the sky itself remains untouched. The sky does not become the storm. The storm simply passes through it. You are like that sky. Thoughts are weather, emotions are weather, fear is weather, anxiety is weather, joy is weather, excitement is weather. None of them stay forever. They come, they remain for a while, then they leave. But awareness remains. The witness remains. You remain. How many times have you believed that a painful feeling would last forever? How many times have you thought, "I will never recover from this. I will never stop hurting. I will never smile again"? Yet here you are. You survived days you thought would break you. You carried grief you thought would drown you. You endured uncertainty that seemed unbearable. And somehow life continued. The witness within you remained steady through it all. There is incredible comfort in realizing this, because it means you do not have to fear every emotional storm. You no longer need to panic every time fear visits you. You no longer need to declare war against sadness. You no longer need to shame yourself for being human. You can simply notice. You can breathe. You can allow the experience to pass. Many people spend their entire lives trying to become someone else. They fight against themselves. They criticize themselves. They believe they need to fix every imperfect part of who they are before they deserve peace. But perhaps peace was never about becoming someone new. Perhaps peace is remembering who you have always been beneath the noise, beneath the fear, beneath the endless thinking, beneath the stories. There is a quiet presence within you that has never been damaged by what happened to you. The betrayals touched your heart, but not your deepest essence. The criticism affected your confidence, but not your true nature. The disappointments changed your perspective, but they did not destroy the awareness that observes all things with compassion. You are far more than the worst thoughts you have ever had. You are far more than your fears. You are far more than your mistakes. You are far more than your pain. The voice in your head is only one small part of your experience. It is not the whole story. The next time your mind begins creating chaos, pause for a moment. Take a breath. Place your hand gently over your heart if you need to. Then ask yourself, what is happening inside me right now? Notice the thoughts, notice the emotions, notice the sensations in your body. And then remember, the one who notices is greater than what is being noticed. The observer is greater than the storm. The witness is greater than the fear. The awareness within you is deeper than every anxious story your mind has ever created. And maybe this is where true freedom begins, not by controlling every thought, not by silencing the mind forever, but by realizing that you do not have to become every passing storm. You can let the waves rise without drowning in them. You can let fear speak without surrendering your life to its voice. You can let thoughts come and go while remaining rooted in something deeper and wiser. For beneath all the noise of the mind, beneath every invisible battle you have fought, there has always been a still and peaceful place within you, a place untouched by fear, a place untouched by doubt, a place untouched by the chaos of this world. And no matter how lost you may sometimes feel, you can always return there. You can always come home to the silent witness within you, because the deepest truth is this: you were never the storm. You were always the sky that held it. Inner peace begins when you stop declaring war on yourself. Perhaps one of the most exhausting battles you have ever fought is the battle against yourself. Not against other people, not against difficult circumstances, not against the world, but against your own humanity. You become anxious, and then you become angry that you are anxious. You feel afraid, and then you criticize yourself for being afraid. You feel sadness, and then you tell yourself to get over it. You make a mistake, and instead of offering yourself understanding, you punish yourself with harsh words that you would never use towards someone you love. Without realizing it, one painful emotion becomes two. The original feeling arrives. Then self-judgment follows behind it. Fear appears. Then shame says, you shouldn't feel this way. Sadness appears. Then criticism says, you are too sensitive. Doubt appears. Then the mind whispers, there must be something wrong with you. And suddenly, what could have been a passing emotional wave becomes a long and painful inner war. Many people believe that peace means reaching a point where they never feel negative emotions again. They imagine that enlightened people never worry, never cry, never doubt themselves, never struggle. They believe peace means becoming emotionally perfect. But this belief creates even more suffering, because perfection is not part of the human experience. You are human. Human beings feel fear. Human beings feel disappointment. Human beings experience uncertainty. Human beings grieve losses. Human beings have moments when they feel confused, overwhelmed, tired, or afraid. These experiences do not mean you are failing at life. They mean you are alive. Buddhist wisdom does not teach you to stop being human. It teaches you to stop fighting your humanity. There is a profound difference between experiencing pain and becoming trapped in resistance to pain. Imagine holding a small stone in your hand. The stone itself has weight, but now imagine clenching your fist around it as tightly as possible. Minutes pass, hours pass. Eventually your hand begins to ache. The pain is no longer coming from the stone. It is coming from the way you are gripping it. Life brings difficult emotions. That is the stone. But the endless resistance, the self-judgment, the refusal to allow yourself to be imperfect is the tight fist, and often that is where much of our suffering comes from. You tell yourself, I should be stronger. I should have healed by now. I should not still be struggling. I should have everything figured out. But according to whose timeline? Who decided that healing must happen quickly? Who decided that you are not allowed to have difficult days? Who taught you that your worth depends on how perfectly you manage your emotions? Somewhere along the way, many of us learned to treat ourselves like machines instead of human beings. We expect ourselves to perform endlessly, to remain positive all the time, to never break down, to never rest, to always have answers. We offer understanding to everyone except ourselves. A friend says they are struggling, and we say, take your time, you are doing your best, it is okay to rest. But when we struggle, our inner voice becomes harsh. Why can't you handle this? What is wrong with you? Other people have it worse. Stop being weak. Imagine speaking to a child the way you sometimes speak to yourself. Imagine looking into the eyes of someone you deeply love and saying the same cruel things you repeat inside your own mind. You would never do it, because compassion comes naturally when we recognize another person's pain. The tragedy is that we often forget to extend that same compassion inward. True healing begins when you become a safe place for your own heart. When fear appears, instead of saying, go away, you say, I know you are here. When sadness visits, instead of saying you should not exist, you gently ask, what are you trying to teach me? When exhaustion arrives, instead of forcing yourself to keep running, you allow yourself to rest. This is not weakness, this is wisdom. Many people spend their lives fighting emotions as if emotions are enemies. They fight fear, fight sadness, fight uncertainty, fight disappointment, fight loneliness. But emotions are messengers. They arrive carrying information. Fear may be asking for reassurance. Sadness may be asking for space to grieve. Anger may be revealing a boundary that has been crossed. Exhaustion may be reminding you that you have been carrying too much for too long. When you stop treating every emotion as an enemy, you begin listening differently. You begin responding with curiosity instead of panic. You begin asking, what do I need right now? Maybe you need rest. Maybe you need silence. Maybe you need to cry. Maybe you need support. Maybe you simply need to sit quietly and breathe. Buddhist wisdom teaches that suffering often grows because we insist that reality should be different from what it is. We say, this should not be happening. I should not feel this way. My life should look different. And while these thoughts are understandable, they keep us arguing with the present moment. The present moment simply says, this is what is here. And healing begins when we stop fighting what is already true. Acceptance does not mean giving up. It does not mean approving of pain. It means acknowledging reality without creating additional suffering. It means saying, yes, this moment is difficult, and I can still meet it with kindness. You do not have to love every part of your experience, but you can stop punishing yourself for having it. You can stop demanding perfection from a heart that is trying its best. You can stop measuring your worth by how calm you remain during every storm. There will still be difficult days, days when anxiety returns, days when grief resurfaces, days when old wounds ache again, days when your mind becomes noisy. But those days do not erase your growth. They do not mean you are moving backward. Healing is rarely a straight line. It moves in circles, it moves in seasons. Sometimes you feel strong, sometimes you feel fragile. Sometimes you feel peaceful, sometimes you feel lost. All of it belongs to the human journey. You are allowed to have both strength and tenderness. You are allowed to be healing and hurting at the same time. You are allowed to be a work in progress. Perhaps the deepest form of peace is not becoming someone who never struggles. Perhaps peace is becoming someone who no longer abandons themselves during the struggle, someone who stays, someone who listens, someone who offers understanding instead of judgment, someone who says, "I know this is hard, but I am here with you." After all these years of fighting yourself, maybe that is what your heart has been waiting for. Not another battle, not another impossible standard, not another reason to feel ashamed. Maybe your heart has simply been waiting for your friendship, for your patience, for your compassion. Because inner peace does not begin when fear disappears. It does not begin when sadness vanishes. It does not begin when life finally becomes easy. Inner peace begins the moment you stop treating yourself like an enemy. It begins the moment you put down the weapons you have been using against your own heart. It begins when you choose understanding over criticism, presence over resistance, compassion over punishment. And maybe tonight, for the very first time in a long while, you can offer yourself these simple words. I do not have to earn my kindness. I do not have to be perfect to deserve peace. I am human, I am learning, and I refuse to go to war with myself anymore. Because you have fought enough battles inside your own mind, you do not need another enemy, especially when that enemy has been the person in the mirror. The peace you have been searching for does not begin somewhere outside of you. It begins here, in this quiet decision to stop attacking yourself and finally become the safe place your own heart has always needed. Your real life starts the moment you put down your weapons. There comes a moment in every person's life when they must ask themselves a difficult question. How much of my life have I spent preparing to live instead of actually living? It is a painful question because most of us do not notice what fear has quietly stolen from us. Fear rarely announces itself loudly. It does not always arrive as panic. Sometimes it disguises itself as caution, as responsibility, as perfectionism, as waiting for the right time. It whispers, "Not yet. You are not ready. Wait until you feel more confident. Wait until you have more certainty. Wait until there is no chance of failure." And so you wait. You wait to speak the words that have been resting in your heart. You wait to pursue the dream that continues calling your name. You wait to travel. You wait to love. You wait to forgive. You wait to rest. You wait to begin. Days turn into months, months turn into years, and without realizing it, life keeps moving. How many sunsets have disappeared while you were busy worrying about tomorrow? How many opportunities have quietly passed by because fear convinced you that you were not ready? How many times have you silenced your own voice because you were afraid of what others might think? How many beautiful moments have you experienced only halfway because your mind was somewhere else? Perhaps you have been sitting at dinner with people you love while mentally rehearsing worst-case scenarios. Perhaps you have held someone's hand while secretly fearing the day they might leave. Perhaps you have stood before an open door in life, feeling the excitement of possibility, only to turn away because your mind reminded you of every reason why it might not work. Fear has a way of shrinking life. It convinces you that avoiding pain is the same as being safe, but avoiding life is not the same as living. The truth is, there has never been a human being who walked through life without uncertainty. No one receives guarantees. No one gets a promise that their heart will never break. No one is told exactly how their story will unfold. Even the people you admire have faced rejection. They have doubted themselves. They have made mistakes. They have lost things they loved. They have stood in uncertainty and taken steps anyway. The difference is not that they were fearless. The difference is that they stopped waiting for fear to disappear before they allowed themselves to live. Buddhist wisdom reminds us that life has always been uncertain. The flower blooms knowing it will eventually fade. The seasons change without resistance. The waves rise and fall without asking for permission. Everything in existence is moving. Everything is changing. Everything is temporary. At first, this truth can sound frightening, but if you look deeper, it is also incredibly freeing. Because if nothing lasts forever, then this difficult season will not last forever. This fear will not last forever. This confusion will not last forever. This pain will not last forever. And if life itself is uncertain, perhaps you do not need to wait for certainty before embracing it. Perhaps you can choose to live now. You can laugh before all your problems are solved. You can dance even if life feels messy. You can begin the project before you know exactly how it will end. You can tell someone you love them without knowing what tomorrow holds. You can take the first step without seeing the entire staircase. You can allow yourself joy without demanding guarantees. Because the tragedy of life is not that difficult things happen. The tragedy is spending so much time trying to avoid pain that you miss the beauty standing right in front of you. You miss the warmth of morning sunlight entering your room. You miss the sound of rain tapping gently against the window. You miss the laughter of people who care about you. You miss the comfort of ordinary moments. You miss your own life. Many people imagine that one day everything will finally fall into place. They think, when I have enough money, then I will relax. When I heal completely, then I will be happy. When my circumstances improve, then I will start living. When fear disappears, then I will begin. But life does not work that way. Life is happening now, in the middle of the uncertainty, in the middle of the imperfections, in the middle of unanswered questions. This ordinary moment that you may be tempted to overlook is actually your life. This breath, this heartbeat, this chance to begin again. You do not have to earn your way into the present moment. You are already here. And perhaps the greatest courage is not becoming fearless. Perhaps the greatest courage is saying, I am afraid, and I will move forward anyway. I do not know exactly what will happen, and I will still open my heart. I cannot control everything, and I choose to participate in life instead of hiding from it. For so long, you have carried invisible weapons. Weapons made of worry, weapons made of self-protection, weapons made of old disappointments, weapons made of the belief that if you stay alert enough, you can prevent every heartbreak. But look at how heavy they have become. Look at how tired you are. Look at how much energy has gone into fighting battles that never truly needed to be fought. You were never meant to live this way. You were never meant to spend your precious years standing guard at the gates of imagined disasters. You were never meant to become a prisoner of fear. You were meant to experience this life. You were meant to love deeply, to create, to learn, to fail and try again, to cry and heal, to laugh until your stomach hurts, to sit quietly beneath the evening sky and feel grateful simply because you are alive. One day, none of us will get more time. And when that day comes, it is unlikely that you will wish you had worried more. You will not wish you had spent more nights overthinking. You will not wish you had delayed joy a little longer. You will wish you had been present. You will wish you had taken the trip, made the call, shared the truth, forgiven yourself, held the people you love a little closer, watched one more sunset without rushing through it, allowed yourself to feel the miracle of being here. Because this life, despite all its uncertainty, is still a gift, a fragile gift, a temporary gift, a sacred gift. And maybe freedom begins with one simple decision: to stop postponing your life, to stop waiting for perfect conditions, to stop asking fear for permission to exist. Maybe freedom begins when you gently place your weapons on the ground and whisper, I have fought enough. I have worried enough. I have prepared for enough imaginary wars. Now I want to live. And perhaps for the first time in many years, you lift your eyes from the battlefield inside your mind and notice something beautiful. The sun is still rising. The sky is still changing colors. People are still offering kindness. Your heart is still capable of love. Hope is still possible. Life is still here, and so are you. not merely surviving, not merely preparing, but finally, courageously, beautifully alive. Because your real life was never waiting somewhere in the future. It has been waiting for you in this moment all along. And the moment you put down the weapons you were never meant to carry is the moment you stop existing in fear and finally begin to live. Perhaps the most powerful moment in this journey is not when your circumstances change. It is when the way you see yourself begins to change. For years, maybe you have introduced yourself through your struggles. You have called yourself an overthinker, a worrier, an anxious person, someone who always expects the worst, someone who cannot relax, someone whose mind never stops. You may have repeated these descriptions so many times that they began to feel like facts. You stopped saying, "I struggle with fear sometimes." Instead, you started saying, "This is just who I am." You stopped saying, "I have anxious thoughts." Instead, you said, "I am anxiety." You stopped saying, "I am having a difficult season." Instead, you believed, "I am broken." But what if that is not the truth? What if these are not identities? What if they are simply patterns? Patterns created by experiences. Patterns repeated through habit. Patterns strengthened through fear. Patterns learned by a mind that was trying to protect you. Because there is a difference between who you are and what you experience. The sky is not the storm moving through it. The ocean is not the wave rising upon its surface, and you are not every thought that passes through your mind. You have had thousands of thoughts throughout your life, some hopeful, some fearful, some wise, some unkind, yet they have all come and gone. If they were truly you, then who is the one who noticed them changing? There is something deeper within you, something that existed before the fear, before the heartbreak, before the disappointment, before the endless mental battles. There is a part of you that has remained quietly present through every chapter of your life. The same awareness that looked through your eyes as a child. The same awareness that survived your hardest days. The same awareness listening to these words right now. Life may have wounded you, but it did not destroy you. People may have disappointed you, but they did not define you. Fear may have visited you, but it never became your true identity. You are not the voice that tells you that you are not enough. You are not the story that says you will never change. You are not the mistakes you regret. You are not the painful chapters you wish had never happened. You are not the labels other people placed upon you. You are not even the labels you placed upon yourself. You are something far more beautiful. You are the awareness that continues choosing to rise, the heart that continues hoping, the spirit that continues learning, the human being who has fallen many times and still found the courage to stand again. Perhaps healing does not require becoming someone new. Perhaps healing is remembering who you were before fear convinced you to forget, before the world taught you to doubt yourself, before pain persuaded you to shrink your light. Maybe the person you have been searching for has never been missing. Maybe they have been beneath the noise all along, waiting patiently for you to come home. So from this moment forward, perhaps you no longer say, "I am an overthinker." Instead, you gently say, "I am learning to trust life again." Perhaps you no longer say, "I am broken." Instead, you say, "I am healing." Perhaps you no longer say, "I will always be." Instead, you whisper, "I am growing." Because identities built from fear keep you trapped, but identities built from compassion set you free. You are not the war inside your mind. You are the one who finally chose peace. Take a slow breath, not to change anything, not to fix anything, simply to notice that you are here. For a moment, allow yourself to stop carrying the weight of yesterday. Allow yourself to stop rehearsing tomorrow. Allow yourself to rest from the exhausting responsibility of trying to control everything. Feel your body where you are sitting. Notice the rhythm of your breathing. Listen to the sounds around you. This moment is asking nothing from you except your presence. You do not have to earn peace. You do not have to prove your worth through suffering. You do not have to solve your entire future tonight. You do not have to figure everything out before allowing yourself to rest. You have carried invisible burdens for a very long time. You have fought battles no one else could see. You have smiled while struggling. You have stayed strong when your heart felt tired. You have survived nights when you thought the fear would never end. And perhaps nobody ever told you this. You can put the armor down now. You can stop standing guard every moment of every day. You can stop expecting disaster around every corner. You can stop trying to earn safety by exhausting yourself. You can rest, you can breathe. You can trust that you do not have to fight every thought that enters your mind. The fears may still visit. Old memories may still return. Difficult emotions may still arise. But you no longer have to build a home inside them. You can acknowledge them. You can honor them. And then you can let them pass. You are allowed to laugh again. You are allowed to feel excitement again. You are allowed to dream again. You are allowed to trust again. You are allowed to enjoy ordinary moments without waiting for permission. You are allowed to wake up without preparing for disaster. You are allowed to believe that peace belongs to you too. Maybe freedom is not found in becoming fearless. Maybe freedom is learning that fear no longer gets to decide how you live. Maybe liberation is not the absence of storms. Maybe it is discovering that even in the middle of uncertainty, there is a peaceful place within you that remains untouched. A place where your worth has never been questioned. A place where you do not have to perform. A place where you are enough exactly as you are. And no matter how many times life becomes difficult, you can always return there. You can always return to yourself. You have fought enough invisible wars. Now, let your heart remember what it feels like to be free. If these words found you during a season of overthinking, fear, or silent exhaustion, I hope they reminded you of something you may have forgotten. You were never meant to spend your entire life fighting yourself. You deserve moments of stillness. You deserve moments of joy. You deserve to experience this life instead of merely surviving it. And if this message brought even a small sense of comfort to your heart, I invite you to continue this journey with us here at Golden Lotus Wisdom. Together, we will keep exploring the timeless wisdom that helps us understand the mind, release unnecessary suffering, and return to the peace that has always lived within us. Until we meet again, be gentle with yourself. Speak to yourself with kindness. Take one slow breath at a time. And remember, the war inside your mind does not define who you are. Beneath the noise, beneath the fear, beneath every storm you have survived, there is still a quiet, unshaken part of you. A part that knows how to love. A part that knows how to hope. A part that knows how to begin again. Trust that part of yourself. Come back to this moment. Come back to your life. And finally, allow yourself the peace you have been searching for all along.